Hi, my name is Cristin Russell. I am a soul coach, EFT practitioner, and energy worker. I've been using EFT tapping for over 10 years and I just love it. I think it's an amazing process, even though at first I wasn't quite so sure. When I started working with my coach at the time, I was really able to tap into the power of it. And so I've been offering some videos and I felt like it was time to do an updated introduction to tapping points so that you can make sure that you're tapping on the appropriate points. They do each have a little bit of wiggle room, about the size of a nickel, but on some of the points, especially the collarbone point, that can actually be easy to miss. So the first thing that we always start with the tapping is the affirmation on the karate chop. And I say always, that's not totally true. Sometimes when I'm working individually, we will skip that part. But for the videos, I always include it because it doesn't hurt and it can actually really affect the effectiveness of it if you don't have it. So the first part is the karate chop. And that's just on the side of either hand. You can use either hand, or I like to use both in more recent years. It feels more balancing, and that's the same with every tapping point. You don't have to use both sides. You can use either. I like using both, so it's really up to you. And on the karate chop, we always do an affirmation. So it's something along the lines of, even though I feel whatever it is, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I feel whatever it is, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And you say that 2 to 3 times. Now, some people will have a response to that. Some voice in their head that's saying, well, no, that's not true. I don't believe that. And there'll be some resistance to that. And that's okay. Just notice if you're one of those people or you're experiencing that a particular day, and change the wording so that it resonates with you. One way I like to do that is to say, even though I feel, I am open to deeply and completely accepting myself. Or if you can take it even a step further beyond I am open to, I choose to deeply and completely accept myself. And see if you can see how far you can kind of push that edge of your comfort zone to really bring it into your heart and bring it into your being, and then move on to the rest of the tapping. But that's very important, because if that's not resonating with you, the rest of the tapping isn't going to be as effective. Okay, so the next point is the top of the head, and you go up directly from your ears with 4 fingers. Just tapping there. You want to tap, pretty firm, but you don't have to beat yourself up. And then 2 fingers on the inside of the eyes, and that's right on the bone there. And then outside of the eyes on the bone, under the eyes on the bone, under the nose, and on the chin, which is really the crease of the chin. And then the collarbone, again, it's the inside part. So another way you can do it, if you're not quite sure, is to just kind of use a fist right there, and then you'll make sure and cover it. Most people tend to go too far out, and so you can just, what I like to do is just kind of go from the soft spot and go down 1 inch and about over 1 inch to either side, and you'll hit that spot. And then the last one is under the arm, between the ribs, where the bra line is for women, and I just use all 4 fingers. And those are the main points that I use for the tapping videos, and most often in my practice as well. There are other ones. Those ones are used because those are the major endpoints of the major meridians of the body. There are some others on the fingers that are often commonly used, but I don't find those are necessary. So I hope you find that helpful. There's one other thing I want to make sure and address, and that is tapping whenever you're really tuning into some kind of emotional subject. When you first start tapping, occasionally the emotion can come up more strongly as you're bringing attention to it. And it may be even more than occasionally if you're really going into it. So just make sure that you keep tapping until you feel better afterwards than you did before. And one way to kind of check in with this is to choose a number of how strong an emotion is on a scale of 0 to 10, just kind of giving yourself a rating, 0 being there's no emotional charge, 10 being the greatest emotional charge. Notice if you're working on frustration, for example, a particular situation that frustrated you. Take a measurement to begin with when you first start tapping. If it's 5, it may actually go up to a 7 the first time. It's not, I wouldn't say that's the usual experience, but it can happen. So just make sure when you are finished, it's at a low level again, because it can bring up other parts of the issue. That's really why it usually gets stronger. So just keep tapping and keep tapping until you actually feel better. And I'm here for you if you have questions or want to get some personal attention for it. When I first started using tapping with my coach over 10 years ago, I really wasn't quite too sure about the process, but working with her individually really helped me understand the depth of what's possible, and I've seen it time and time again with my clients. There is a distinct difference when you're working with someone on it. Unless you've been doing tapping forever, then you probably already know how to work with the different layers that arise. So I hope you find that helpful. If you have any questions, contact me. I'm at illuminatedcoaching.com, ILLUMINATED coaching.com, and you can contact me by email that way. I also have different freebies and gifts there as well, so feel free to check that out. And I hope you have an awesome day.